Okay, it'd be way stupid late. Yeah, like 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, I ain't gonna have time to do this in the morning, so I gotta do it now. Broken Mech, stupid video. I played half of it and it's just babbling crap. And then it started getting really weird somewhere around in here, hopefully. So let's see what it says.
In the future or in the past, the net amount of suffering in the universe would be the net amount of suffering at that particular moment that exists.
Alright, so he's making another one of these wacky kind of, like suffering doesn't accumulate, over time. It just only happens right now. Right now, all over, so it's okay. Everybody who just died right now, it's okay. We've got you already. What the fuck? It just doesn't make any sense. If it's like any other commodity. If you can prevent a liability financially from happening tomorrow by doing something simple today, like, yeah, I'll do that, and I save $1 million. Yeah, you do it, okay? But there's a continuity. Well, anyway, this is just loopy, crazy motherfucking stuff, and he's sitting there calling other people batshit loony. This is batshit loony stuff.
And if you take that into account, then his math doesn't work. All of a sudden, imploding, planet Earth right now.
Yeah. So if you just forget that there's going to be a future, then yeah, the math doesn't work. Of course it doesn't. I'm assuming there's going to be a future. If I'm wrong and a meteor is going to hit tomorrow, then this whole conversation really is a waste of time. You're right. But what are the odds? Come on, jackass. Wake up and smell reality.
Doesn't alleviate any infinite amount of future suffering.
Horrible.
It only would reduce the suffering of this exact moment. But the future is all of that. Potential suffering still exists. You've done nothing to alleviate that.
This doesn't make any sense. So now he's just saying now that I'm not alleviating future suffering. So if I crash the Earth into the sun, somehow people are still going to suffer. This is his argument. I know it doesn't sound like anybody could make an argument this crazy, especially when he's calling other people irrational and batshit loony. And yet this is what he's saying. He's saying it.
It would still, at any given moment in the future, just as much suffering could still exist in the universe. And, new consciousnesses.
Could. New consciousness. So the Earth doesn't necessary for the consciousness on Earth? For there to be consciousness on Earth, the Earth doesn't have to exist. Well, that's fucking convenient. I mean... what? Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like, what? So if I don't put 4 kids in a car on the highway tomorrow, yes, there will be kids in cars on the highway, but they won't be the 4 I didn't put on the highway, right? I mean, this doesn't make any sense on so many levels. I mean, whether there's still going to be other stuff in the universe has nothing to do with the stuff here. Oh, you fuck nuts.
Would evolve, and potentially there already are other worlds with other consciousnesses, and so
here we go. This is the theory again. So this is just nothing more than a God delusion. You're just saying there could be stuff in the universe because we can't see all the way across it. Maybe, possibly, probably. Yeah, it's all wrong. It's very unscientific. I really don't have to go through this whole rules of probability crap again. But you cannot draw any positive conclusions based on the evidence we have about life anywhere else in the universe. Because we don't have one single confirmation of the life process. Alright, it didn't happen twice here, and it hasn't happened as far as we know anywhere else. You have nothing to confirm. Alright, we can't make one. That's another bit of evidence. We can land on the moon, but we can't make a reproducing cell.
This idea that you would have impacted that, other than on a very temporary, you would have pushed the boulder up the hill, only to have it roll back down, and you'd be back to pushing it up the hill again.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is just like I said. This is all based on what is, batshit loony science. There's no science to back up any kind of assumption that life is plentiful in the universe. Nothing. No evidence of that. Should we protect against the possibility? Well, that's a separate conversation. That does have to do based on the whole Drake equation and probability math. But I mean, there's a ton of evidence that there is nothing out there, and there's a ton of evidence that even if there was something screaming for help out there, there's not a hell of a lot that we can do. We can't get there, asshole. Ever. I mean, there's this whole time, speed of light problem.
So you've done nothing if you've accomplished nothing by doing that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and that's an argument based on complete mush. I mean, you might as well just be preaching at me about what Jehovah says, because it means absolutely nothing to me. This is gibberish, unscientific nonsense. I don't know why you put this image in. I mean, how is this confirming life? This is confirming my argument that you're going to fail, and you're going to fail hard and miserably.
And this is also relevant to another point that Inmendham argues, which is that suicide and homicide are pointless, because that doesn't alleviate all of this future suffering. What's the point of suicide if new consciousnesses are just going to keep coming into existence, and this game of pushing the boulder up the hill is just going to keep being played?
Right. Now, see, you got it right, but you're going to screw it up now. I just know you are.
And so Inmendham argues that you have to destroy everything, the whole world and all of life, in order to finally stop pushing that ball up that hill. But again, the universe is too vast and time is too vast for that to be rational in any...
Wow. So now it's irrational. He's calling it irrational to not believe the fallacy, the fairy tale of UFOs and alternative species and other life forms, other sentient creatures in the universe. So if you believe the evidence that we have, which demonstrates life to be pretty much really hard to make, it doesn't happen, rare chemistry, might be preposterously rare chemistry, but it's at least rare chemistry. And what? I don't have anything to say to that. You can't call people irrational because they look at the evidence and they draw the rational conclusion based on the evidence, which is life is very, very rare at best.
Sense, because it is probable to the point...
It's not probable. So again, this is just a huge logical mistake. It's a violation of probabilities and statistics. You can't do this. You can't extrapolate how you're extrapolating based on the evidence we have. You have to have a confirming piece of evidence, and you have none. None. One time is all we've got evidence of. In all of the sloshing seas of the earth, and all the chemistry of the other planets, one.
Of near certainty that life would evolve again.
There we go, a near certainty. Okay, so again, I really don't have an obligation to debunk your religion, and that's all that is. That is dogma. Sorry, fella, but you got nothing, no science to back that up whatsoever. None. It's an illogical conclusion based on the evidence that exists. That's a fact. I don't know if I'll call it irrational, but it's illogical. It's unjustified. There you go.
That consciousness would evolve again, if not already in existence at other places in the universe. And so, in that context, then wiping out your, wiping out.
Right, so there's two Frankensteins, and it doesn't make any sense to kill one of the Frankensteins? Sorry, there's just nothing there. There's no logic there. Alright? We know this is a problem. We can take care of the mess we have here. We have our own spilt milk. We can clean up our spilt milk. The fact is, if there's stuff out there, we can't get to it. We can't clean it up. We can't do a damn thing about it. So that's sort of a, well, no point in not getting our job done on the phantasmagorical unicorn bizarro chance that there's some other project for us to accomplish somewhere else in the universe. I mean, you're just playing, this is just religion, that's all this is. There's a replicating molecule on planet Earth, that's all there is here. Alright, now if there's other replicating molecules on other planets that got the same problem we have, and it's pretty unlikely they have any humans contemplating it.
All life on Earth is irrelevant in that, again, you have only just pushed the ball up the hill to have it roll back down again.
Yeah, well, again, that just doesn't make any sense. So there's 3 rabid dogs. 3 dogs with rabies. You shoot one of them. You haven't done anything good? You haven't accomplished anything? Well, I mean, you got rid of 1/3 of the problem. Sounds like an accomplishment to me.
Because you're the same argument still applies. There's still consciousnesses in the universe, and therefore that balloon chasing game goes on and suffering continues to exist.
Yeah, but less of it continues to exist even by your preposterous, nonsensical, phantasmagorical, made-up bullshit. So, again, you fail again. This is a stupid argument. If I can prevent that one misery, I've accomplished something. What are they going to do, bury the dog? God, this is so fucked up. Shit. I mean, again, this isn't really confirming anything but the fact that life is fail, you idiot. How many people close their lives forever? How many sentient creatures close their eyes forever today? Let me just contemplate it. All the cats and the dogs and the pigs. All these little animals. And they go through these miseries and these hardships. And they struggle and struggle. And finally their eyes close for the last time. For what? For what? For what? For what? For what? So you can make shitty, stupid, irrational arguments on the internet? Fuck.
So, and a third problem with this idea of this objective value and Mindham's
Jesus.
assertion that other people's lives have no value, that nobody's life has any value, it's all pointless and it's all for nothing.
Look, you want to make a counter argument, then make it. Prove it. Demonstrate the value of the existence. Why we are necessary, functional, accomplished, what we get done here besides cleaning up the mess. So go find me an exemplary human who's exemplary without being a mess cleaner-upper. Yeah, I don't think you'll find one. The only good human is a good janitor.
He refuses to acknowledge that people, by and large, do value their lives. They subjectively value their lives and prefer existence to non-existence. And he...
whatever. Yeah, they're afraid to die. You know, the dying process is spooky as hell. Yeah, so yeah, no doubt about that. So yeah, they're afraid to go through this transition. I hate life, and I still find it bothersome, to face the idea of me ceasing to exist, too. That doesn't sound like a very fun thing to do, to cease. But it's just a fact. You're going to do it anyway. And the point is why would you perpetuate this? Why would I put somebody else into this predicament? It's stupid.
Demands that they give a reason why they prefer existence to non-existence.
No, I want them to give me a reason why they should impose it on somebody else. You keep ignoring the subject. The subject isn't whether you have some reason to live. The subject is, do you have a reason to impose life on somebody else? Fucker. God, you can't get anything right. Antinatalism. I mean, really, antinatalism. You put it right in the fucking title. Okay? The fucking subject is should people impose life on other people when they don't have any conclusive evidence that it's a good fucking idea? Stupid fuck.
But that's not his place to demand. The fact that they value their lives and that people would choose existence over non-existence.
Would choose to impose existence over choosing to eat a banana cream pie, right? They should find something to do that involves them, that doesn't involve imposing on somebody else. That's the argument, shit, right? Oh, fuck.
Since when they are capable of making that consent is all the justification their lives need. And he would have to concede that at least on those individual bases, their lives have value. And if you concede that their lives have value, then you cannot argue that they would be better off to have never existed.
Well, again, you're missing the argument once again. The argument is about who should be feeling like they're better off not to have existed. The point is who has a right to impose on another generation? Who has the right, the authority, the competence to decide for some new sentient that it's going to like it, that it's not going to think it would have been better off not to have been? And if there's a risk it's going to think it's better off not to have been, well then you better not fucking mess with it. You stupid bitches.
You're arguing that their lives then don't have any value.
Well, again, you keep missing the argument. Antinatalism. Yeah. Not no life
anyway,
valuism.
These are some of the problems that I have within Mendham's philosophy. Then, and another point I want to bring up. This is regarding Pink Moon 831's video that she made.
What is this anyway? What are all these images supposed to represent? You got a bunch of starving black people. I mean, what? Could you find some other kind of imagery? I mean, they couldn't find like happy people or something. This is just getting a little bit pitiful.
The comments on it and the discussion. Basically, she said in her video that, people should be convinced of antinatalism by the weight of the argument alone, that it should not be imposed upon other people, and that it should be voluntary. Now, she has flip-flopped and is saying that what she meant was that sterilization shouldn't be imposed on people, but that there should be laws criminalizing and outlawing procreation. And this is a typical example of the extreme doublethink that...
Oh, whatever. You're the one who's inventing, as an excuse, some rescue mission we have to go on in the universe. There's some fucking planet on fire, and we have to go rush out there and put the fire out. Yeah, we have to go show them how to play baseball. Yeah. Because we don't fix anything here, right? I mean, they're really not going to want our advice because we kind of suck at doing anything right, don't we? I mean, don't we? Don't we kind of suck at doing anything right? Idiot?
It's involved in this kind of philosophy where now and it's not just her, it's many of them, are literally arguing that there is no contradiction between the concept of voluntary and things that are illegal and imposed upon society.
Yeah, well, guess what? No, we make illegal mostly are things that are impositions. Okay? Impositions without cause. Imposition without justification. That's what we make illegal. It's not that complicated. And it's an imposition to play games, to conduct experiments, okay, biological experiments with sentient creatures. We have laws right now. You can't do it to a fucking ape. You can't go playing experimental games with one in your living room. But somehow, because it's sacrosanct, we're allowing human beings to fuck up human beings. Which is a little bit of a hypocrisy, I think.
That somehow this changes the nature of the imposition, but clearly it does not. So, voluntary is voluntary.
Yeah, well, whatever. You're the people with the burden of proof, okay? You're the first aggressor. You're the one boldly going and saying, I know what I'm doing. I can do it right. I'm not going to fuck it up. Well, you obviously can't, but you're going to pretend like it's okay if I totally screw up and create a catastrophe. It's okay because I'm allowed to, because, animals, DNA said so. That's all you've got. And you're going to complain about somebody else's ethics? I mean, you're a joke, asshole.
Illegal is illegal. They're not the same thing. And when you're talking about criminalizing something, then you're talking about forcibly preventing people from procreating. And when you consider how you could actually implement that in a real world...
Yeah, you can do it with money, That's really the easiest way to do it. Yeah, the game's going to be over. You make people pay the real freight. Quit subsidizing it. Quit screwing me out of thousands of dollars a year to pay for your fucking kids, you stupid cunt. And yeah, the game will change pretty quick. People have to start paying for their fucking sloppy recklessness.
You have to consider that people are going to break that law, and then you're going to be forced to prevent them from procreating.
Yeah, well, and we prevent people from going out and capturing black people and calling them their property. We forcibly stop them from imposing their will on others. That's what we do. That's right. And so when we have a majority and that's the consensus, then that's what we're going to do to these idiots who think they have a license, okay, to make human beings. They don't have such a license. They don't have the authority. They don't have a good enough argument. They don't have any way to defend their action. They don't have enough insurance. So just like we don't let people make nuclear power plants in their backyard, we shouldn't be letting people make human beings in their bedroom.
Pick any number of ways that you think that would be done, but the reality is you are forcing either sterilization onto them, or you are imprisoning them where they don't have...
Oh, you've already used this one. Oh, jeez, lame. Yeah, whatever. Again, this is evidence of the fail of your stupid game. This is what you will perpetuate forever. Is this kind of the misery and suffering that drove people to run away from the world to a shithole to die. Bravo. Way to be an asshole. Oh, we're kind of tubby, which is weird.
Access to the opposite sex. You're killing them. Whatever. You have to be able to actually affect that. This is not, I'm not fear.
Well, whatever, you are fear-mongering entirely. Like I said, if 90% of the people are not having babies and only 10% are, yeah, the 90% are going to have a pretty strong argument. And the 10% just aren't going to have the right to keep playing the game. We could outlaw... If we outlawed pit bulls tomorrow, right, then people couldn't breed them anymore. And we said, no, you just can't do it anymore. You got to find something else to do with your time. That's not a tragedy. But contempt for the law, well, that'll get you in trouble.
Pondering. I'm just saying these are the logical implications of what you're saying you want to do to people.
Yeah, we want people to be accountable for their behavior. And they can't be. And so until they can prove that they can be, and until they convince people in this future time with some kind of real argument, well, then they'll be okay. But if they can't make a convincing argument and most people think they're full of shit, well, that's called tough luck, fucker.
And it is very disingenuous that these antinatalists want to pretend that they're advocating something voluntary, while at the
well, like I said, it will be in the beginning, and then later it won't be. That's right, because it's an all or nothing. This has already been explained to you. There's not two choices here. This is like with certain things, like nuclear power or some other kind of thing. You make a decision. Either you're going to have it or you're not going to have it. All right? And when you decide you're not going to have it, you don't let somebody still do it. I mean, that doesn't make any sense, retard.
same time clearly advocating that they want to impose their ethical system onto people, and that they want people to be forced into going along with their anti-natalism.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just again, this isn't that complicated. It's like diseases or something. If somebody had, like, say, if there was some kind of new AIDS virus, and all you had to do was cough, and somebody could get it 20 feet away, and they were going to die in 6 months from it. Society would have a right to quarantine people, and that's what they would do. They would take away people's freedom, and they would lock them away in a quarantine. All right, and it wouldn't be pleasant, and it wouldn't be nice, but that's what they would have to do, because that's in the best interest. All right, now we're still talking about the best interest here. You want to say that we're going to go out with knives and cut their heads off? Fine. You want to pretend that this is what it's going to look like? It doesn't have to look like this. All right, what it can look like is a place where people who are nataling can be segregated and watched and prevented and sterilized. Yes. But if you want to say we're going to kill them all, then fine. I don't really care, all right, because I still have a valid argument. Because for every one of these I stop, all right, I potentially am sparing hundreds of thousands of individuals from redoing this very same sick, disgusting play.
So, anyway, happy Monday, everybody.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you, shithead. Eat shit and you fuck off. You're just, you're just lucky you ain't my father. Because, man, we'd have a problem. Big fucking problem. Anyway, I mean, really, you're just a menace. You're just a disgusting, horrific menace. You can't get it. Even theoretically, you can't get it. You're going to, like I said, this is just so bizarre. You don't know what antinatalism means. You don't know what constitutes irrationality. And then batshit loony. It is batshit loony to conclude that life is a replicating DNA molecule.